In today's video, I'm creating an adorable little birthday card for our granddaughter's first birthday. I'm using a few different stamp sets and the beautiful new ornate garden dies. So let's get stamping. I've already gone ahead and cut my cardstock. This piece of Whisper White measures 4 by 5 1/4, and I've run it through our beautiful Parisian Flourish embossing folder. And then I have some of our Best Dressed Designer Series paper. Now I have cut this to measure 5 by 2 1/2. And this is also from our Best Dressed Designer Series paper, and I used one of our gorgeous new ornate layer dies. So beautiful. And this is the one I used right here, and then I just cut it in half. So what I'm going to do is put this on. Oh, that side's pretty too, isn't it? So I'm just going to put some snail behind this. And center it up right near the top. I'm going to go ahead and round the corners using my punch. And do that to all 4 corners. That. I think I need a little bit more snail. I didn't really get any on the edges. There we go. And I'm also going to round the corners on this piece. And then my card base is also Whisper White, and I cut it to measure 11 by 5 1/4. And going to round the corners on this as well. First thing I'm going to do is adhere this to my embossed layer. And I'm just going to set that right up at the top. And I'm going to leave just a little bit of the space around it. And this is going to go on my card base. Now for the tag that I'm going to be putting on the front of the card, I'm bringing in 3 stamp sets: Make a Difference, New Wonders, and Hoot Hooray. So I'm just bringing in a piece of scrap cardstock, and I'm going to start by stamping up my happy birthday. I'm going to use my black memento for this. I'm going to stamp it over just a little bit because I want to stamp first right there. So let's bring this stamp set in. So I'm starting off by using the number 1, and then I'm pulling in the first right here. This is such a great stamp set. All right. I debated doing the first in a different color, but I don't. Obviously, I've decided not to. Perfect. Now, I use this stamp set a lot, and I'm always so afraid of losing some of these little stamps, so I just keep them in a little plastic bag. Put that there. Now I'm going to ink this little guy right here. I'm not going to ink up the bottom portion that reads Welcome Little One. Now I'm going to ink up the whole thing and stamp it on another piece of scrap paper because I want to pop this up on top of that original tag. I'm using my stamping blends to color. I'm starting off with my dark and my light crumb cake. I'm also going to add a little bit here. I'm not going to see a whole lot of the one underneath this, but I am going to see a little, so that's why I'm just going to do the outside on that one. And now my light. I'm gonna add a bit more of my dark crumb cake. Now I'm bringing in my dark and my light petal pink, and we're gonna have a pink little bear. I want to pull in some of this Highland Heather into my picture, and I don't actually have Highland Heather in my stamping blends, so I'm going to bring in my Highland Heather ink pad, and I'm going to grab my blender pen and just pick up a little bit right from the ink pad, and I'm going to do that actually for the tail and the mane of the horse. And the reason I'm not using my Highland Heather marker is because I can do more shading with my blender pen. Now all I'm doing is I'm adding a little bit of the basic gray to the hoofs of the little pony. And now I'm going in with my dark basic gray. Just add a bit of shading. And I also added a little bit to the teddy bear nose. Let's add a bit more over here too. So now I'm going to cut this out. When you're fussy cutting like this, it always works so much better when you move the paper. See how I'm moving it around and not just moving my scissors. And cut out this stamp piece with my stitched label dies, and I've just run it through using the same Parisian Flourish embossing folder just to keep that texture flowing to match on the card. So I'm going to use my snail to put this on. And I'm going to line up the swirl of the embossing folder with the swirl on here. I don't know what that little bit of black is, but I'm not going to see it when I put this on. So just lining that right up with the pattern of the embossing folder behind it. That's going to go right there. And then this little guy is going to get put on with dimensionals. I'm just going to bend those edges in a little. So it is Saturday morning. Actually, that's a lie. It's Saturday 1 o'clock. Wow, how did that happen? And I must say, this is such a nice way to spend time on the weekend. Especially when I'm making a card for a sweet little baby girl. And I'm just going to stagger this a little bit. I'm not going to line it up exactly. I'm just going to stagger it just a bit. Just like that. Oh my goodness, I'm so pleased with how this is turning out. So I'm pulling in some of my Whisper White seam binding ribbon, and I'm just going to add some color. So I'm going to use my Highland Heather. I'm just going to swipe it right across. Now I could use my marker as well. Both will work. And that dyed right through both sides. And I'm not sure how much I need, so I'm going to do a little bit extra. Anything left over can be used in my scrapbooks or on other cards. So that's perfect. I now have coordinating ribbon. And it's already dry. See, no ink is coming off. So for my bow, I'm bringing in my handy dandy bow maker. This was a gift from a friend of mine, and I love it. So the pegs move, and I've used this before in my videos. I've shared it before, but I love it. And I'm just gonna wrap this around and go under. Probably hard to see what I'm doing. And then this comes over and then ties a knot. And then I get perfect bows every time. Trim off that end and slide it off. So there's my perfect bow. And now I'm going to move this in and make a smaller one. And you know what? I might not even have enough ribbon. Nope, I'm going to need some more. So bring in that ribbon again. Geez, and I thought I might have had too much ribbon. Done. So easy. And I love that it's dry right away. It's completely dry. All right. Do the same thing. Wrap this around. Go under and over. And then tie a knot. And there's that perfect bow, so I'm just going to trim the ends. Oops. So now I'm going to put these bows together using some linen thread. This piece here that we didn't use right away, I'm going to adhere right alongside. And to do that, I'm going to use some tear and tape. I'm just going to put a little bit right down alongside this tag. Okay. And then I'm just going to loop this up. And put that right on top. Okay. And now I'm going to take a little bit of snail, because this is going to hold down my linen thread, and I'm actually going to take some glue dots to add to the center of this bow. And this is one of those cards, even though I had the inspiration, I'm doing it on the fly while I'm filming. Okay, now I'm just gonna set this down right about there. Just play with this a little bit. Pushing down into that snail adhesive. And I'm going to pick up a glue dot. I'm going to tuck it right underneath here. And pull the tail end of this linen thread and just push it right down. And then push this ribbon back on top. Bringing in my linen thread, and I'm just going to add another little bow right on top. And that way it all ties in together. And push that right into the glue dot. And of course I have to put just a little bit of glitter onto that little pony. So I'm going to take some scrap paper first to make sure it doesn't blob out. I've learned that from experience. For the inside of the card, I cut a piece of Whisper White, and also using our new ornate frames, I used this larger one right here. These are just sensational dies, and they actually cut really well. I'm always a little bit it's so intricate, is it gonna cut, is it gonna be fussy? But they cut beautifully. So for the inside of the card, I'm going to use my Special Someone stamp set. I don't have a lot of children stamp sets with sentiments. I'm definitely gonna need to get some more. So I'm going to stamp a very special day, very special someone, and now I'm bringing in my lovely lipstick with a happy birthday. Now there are some cute little flowers in here, so I'm going to pull in some of the colors of the Designer Series paper using the flowers. Take my dark Daffodil Delight and add the center of the flowers. Finished card. I hope you enjoyed today's card tutorial. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch. I appreciate you. Happy stamping!